I think if a woman wants to have a child without kind of a permanent father or kind of in an unstable relationship, then I don't really approve of that. I think a family is built on a mother and a father and the child. I think a child gains different things from a mother and a father, and together you get a good child out of that. So no, I think you need both in a stable relationship. I don't think you need a long-term relationship or a long-term marriage to be happy. I think if you can have a relationship that lasts kind of forever, then that's great. But I think if it's not working out and both people are unhappy, then surely the best thing to do is go your own way if you're not happy. But if you're happy, why change it? It doesn't have to be a marriage, or any sort of relationship is fine, and you can. And if you're not happy, then yeah, maybe you should divorce if you're in a marriage, or separate for a while. I think that homosexual couples should have children. I think whilst people perceive like mother and father figures as kind of the parents of a family, I don't see why two men or two women can't raise a child. It's always better just to have another person raising a child. It doesn't make too much difference over the sex, and kind of, I'm sure whoever the couple is have got either a male or a female influence in their life to kind of influence the child as well. So I don't think it matters at all. I think people should live together without marriage. I think in the modern times where life is so much more complicated beyond marriage, people's work changes, even ownership of a house is difficult when you're sort of married or not married, and I think just living together is probably a good way of testing if your relationship is meant to work. If you can live together and kind of coexist in the same space, then maybe yeah, it's right. But no, I don't think there should be any issue with this. Marriage is just kind of a statement you can show the world, but it doesn't matter what the world thinks as long as you're together with the person you like. I think when you look at working mothers and the relationships they have with their children, it's difficult to say, because some working mothers do have quite good relations with their children, but others don't, and it's hard to know when you're not in that kind of ever experienced it as a child. I mean, I know for me, my mother worked part-time as a child when I was a child, and it was quite useful. I mean, she would always be around in the evenings when I got home from school. But I knew other people's parents who worked full-time, but they still grew up living the same lifestyle that I did, and same opportunities, same sort of care and attention from their family. So I think it's hard to say, and it's difficult. It depends on what context, what type of work they do, and what kind of other time they wish to spend with their child. So it's difficult. I think there shouldn't really be an issue. I think a preschool child and the mother's relationship is key. I think that's when the mother and the child make the greatest bond that lasts for a lifetime. And if the mother is working for the majority of that period, kind of almost straight after giving birth, and then the child's kind of first kind of couple of months, first year, then it can be a bit difficult. But obviously some mothers do have to work, and I think if you can find a balance between sharing that bond with your child or creating that bond and working, then you should do it. But if you can avoid going to work, maybe your husband can go to work, or you can make some sacrifices to not need another person working for a couple of years, then I think you should take that sacrifice. A woman should, like, when you look at kind of the kind of arguments between should a woman just stay at home and look after the children, or work, or what do they really want? Do they want to work, or do they want to be a sort of housewife and a mother to their children? I think, again, times are changing. most people's households, mother and father work in two capacities, full or part-time or something like that. And I think it's quite backwards of a woman to think that she should just have a home and look after the children. It's quite a big assumption. And I think, I know personally, if that's what a woman said to me, that's what her aim was, I wouldn't exactly be too happy about it. I think everyone should pull their weight in a family, almost the same way that my view is that a child, once they get to 16, should be trying to look for work or doing something just to kind of progress and contribute to them and the society around them. So yeah, I think women should look for work, and the home and the children will always still be there. It's just how you manage everything together now. I don't think being a housewife is as fulfilling as doing a job or earning money outside of the house. I think some women may see that they're quite happy doing that, and that makes them happy, and that fulfills everything they ever want to do. But I'm sure if you talk to anyone who is a full-time housewife, doing things in the house, I'm sure they'd rather deep down be carrying out their own dreams, following their own careers. I mean, everyone's been to school in this country, and most people will have been to university, and it's sort of, why have you done that if all you're going to do is stay at home, look after the family? You've kind of wasted your education and your future to do that. So no, I think you should always go and look for a job if you can, or something outside the home. I don't think a woman needs a job to feel independent. I think there are many other ways that a woman can feel independent regardless of a job. I think it's seen as being quite the way that women gain independence is by having a job, but they're not really independent. They're still working with other people in quite a complicated environment and doing various things. So no, I don't agree with that. I think both the husband and the wife should definitely contribute to household incomes. You're sharing the same house. If you've got children, you're both equally responsible for them. So yeah, I think you should contribute to household income. Whether or not it's an even split, 50-50 down the middle, is a different thing. I mean, people have different jobs that pay different amounts, different hours and things like that. But as long as there is a contribution being made, and the value of that contribution is being kind of appreciated, say if the mother earns a lot more than the husband, or vice versa, maybe, I don't know, one of them spends more time doing things in the house or whatever. I think you work these things out, but definitely I think both should contribute. I definitely think that fathers do as good a job as a mother when looking after children. I think apart from sort of the maternal kind of duties that a mother biologically performs, I don't think there's anything else a man can't do. And in fact, having a good father figure can be just as important as a good mother. I think you learn a lot of different things from a father, and I think in a world where people are starting to lose, where mothers and fathers, it doesn't matter who they are, it's quite worrying when fathers before were always seen as sort of not the head of the family, but kind of the wise, the steady figure in the household, or someone who just knew how to do things, and mother was there to talk to and look after you. But people are starting to get away from that. But I still think if you talk to your father about certain things, it'll be completely different to what you talk to your mum about, and you'll learn different things from that, I think. When you include like the household, and if men or women should take more responsibility for the children and the household, I think they shouldn't take any more than what a woman's responsibilities are. I think it should be equal responsibility. Either if you cook dinner one night and your wife takes the kids to school the next day, and then you swap, or however it works out, I think you have to be much more flexible in your lifestyle. today as a man or a woman in the family. I think that one of the qualities children should have from the home is kind of good manners. You learn what you learn at home is how you'll be outside of home. So if you can learn good manners in your home, then that's brilliant, because that's how everyone wants to be treated, with good manners all the time. And then alongside that, I think you need to be aware of kind of independence, living your life on your own. If you get that sort of independence at home, like your parents aren't always kind of nagging you and telling you what to do, then when you kind of leave home, you'll be much more prepared for the real world, and kind of be able to kind of fight your own battles, as it were, without always needing mum and dad for support. I think the home should also teach you about hard work. You should be able to see from what your parents do, what their jobs or what their kind of careers are, that it is all about hard work. And just when you leave your house, that you will have to work hard, and it's always good if your parents share those stories with you about when they were your age or when they were young, what they did, just so you have a sense of reality, and that you can't just like walk into a job or walk into like £1 million. You have to work hard to gain all that success. And I guess in order to kind of be successful or work hard, your imagination has to be encouraged as a child in your house. You have to ask lots of questions, you've got to be very inquisitive, you've got to always be thinking, and yeah, you may annoy your parents by all these questions or your wild imagination, but it's what will make you successful, or what will make you a really interesting person outside of home, and other people will be interested in you because you've got this desire to learn or ask questions. And then finally, I think you have to learn to respect and tolerate everyone within your home. At the end of the day, the world is full of people you don't know, and most of them you probably won't like, but will have to work with or communicate with, and you've got to learn to deal with that. It's sort of like your family. You can't choose who your family is, but you have to tolerate them and respect them. They may not be the people you pick as your friends, or kind of the people you choose to be with, but they're your family, and if you can tolerate and respect them, then you can tolerate and respect anyone.